Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Technologist Forum, and there's already been a lot of heckling of me in the background by these co-producers. But as I just said before I pressed live, I wouldn't do this with anybody else. Today's conversation hopefully will bring you some value. Hopefully, it's going to bring us some value as well. It's going to be an introspective in terms of how we are doing the things that we are doing. I got some winners behind the scenes. We're going to talk about it. As always, your engagement is appreciated. Let's go. All right, y'all. Welcome to the. First of all, I took a picture already of the folks that are here on this screen because there's some heavy hitters here. There's some clout here. Not me, the other three. I'm just here, Wizard of Oz, pulling strings behind the scenes, y'all. Um, let's do this. First of all, appreciate everyone for joining. Appreciate the co-hosts for being here. A couple of folks have already been here on the panel. This is not an I thing. This is a we thing. I want to start ladies first and go with folks who haven't been here thus far. And Erica, if you could start telling who you are, your origin story, what it is that you do, and then we'll go Tanya, and then we'll go with you, Dr. Stone, if you don't mind. Erica, who are you?
Me?
You.
I am a digital transformation strategist with a focus on virtual events. Really into automations, really into distribution, making things run by themselves. And I like to tell people, if you're interested in hosting a virtual event, it's not hard, and there's help available. Well, that's me.
Short, sweet, elevator pitch. That means you've said it multiple times, right? That's
Yes.
dope. There's a story in that as well. Appreciate you, sis. Appreciate you, sis. Miss Smith, how about you?
All right. My name is Tanya Smith, and I am the host of a live stream show called Stream Like a Boss TV. I also run as the CEO of Get Noticed with Video LLC. I am a video marketing strategist and a systems coach as well. And what I do is I work with service-centered creators to help them to convert crickets into cash. So super excited to be here. Love systems, love tech. And of course, I love Hicks and all the people on here, Stone and Bates. Like, these are my people. So I'm happy to be here.
Every time I hear that crickets to cash, I just, if I had I love, if I wish I had come up with that. That's gold.
It's a t-shirt.
It's
T-shirt.
that need to be a whole wardrobe right there. Appreciate you, sis. Thank you very much for that. Dr. Stone, tell the folk who you are.
Dr. Hicks. Yes, sir. My name is Chris Stone. I am at castahead.net, and I work with motivated entrepreneurs to do a show, because most people, they don't want to know how all the stuff works. They just want a show, and we do that for them. All they got to do is show up, fire up their cameras, fire up their microphones, and we do all the rest, from setting up guests to setting up the live production, doing the moderation, doing the live show itself, and then reproducing that content and sprinkling it all over the interwebs, as long as the Musks and the Zuckerbergs of the world allow it to happen.
See, there you go with that. I was going to give you some kudos on that branding that you do, because you got the whole branding behind you, but then you started talking about folks. That's normally
I got to get them in. Yeah, I got to get them in. Like, let's just get it out so we can bring everybody in. Then we know. So we're gonna talk about it.
I love it. Appreciate you. Listen, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's stay focused here. I want to have the discussion, and again, folks, you guys know that these are more discussions as opposed to interviews, and the engagement when it comes in, we will have that as well. We are all into video. We all do video production. We all do video coaching. We all do remote production. All of those things, but audio can't be ignored. Right? Audio is kind of where it started from. Well, blogging, WordPress, that kind of thing. But audio can't be ignored, and the importance of that. I guess I just want to have a conversation about the importance of and, not or. And does it make sense? Where does it make sense to lean more into? Is it community? Is it the network? Is it the discussion? Is it the content? Where does it make sense maybe to lean more into audio versus video, dependent on the conversations that you're trying to have with folks, if that makes sense. And feel free to anybody jump in.
I'm going to say both. I like both, especially I'm dyslexic. I don't care for reading that much, but I love that 11 Labs would read it for me if somebody add that into their blog. I love that people add in their video to their YouTube channel, because sometimes I just want to skim and I want to hear the rest. Notebook LM, give me a summary of that whole blog. I love those. So why not both?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, go ahead, Tanya, because I was going to piggy off of that a little bit, but I'd rather hear your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to say ditto, because here's the thing. What we need to recognize as marketers, as entrepreneurs, just as human beings, is that everyone consumes information differently. So people have different preferences and at different times, right? Different seasons. There are times when I'm riding in my car, I can't watch video. So I'll take in that information and consume that information through an audio podcast. I understand that there are people that like to learn, that are auditory learners. So I want to make sure that I'm leveraging both, not just the video itself, but also the audio. But I know we're going to have some deeper conversation about the two of those things, but totally agree with what Erica already said.
Yeah, I want to dovetail on that. I'm glad Tanya brought up inclusivity, and that's a huge part and has been for years. That you have to put out content that hits people where they're at. And so a lot of times we think you launch a podcast on YouTube. Well, yeah, some people are finding it, right? And some people are watching it. A lot of people are just listening to it, right? But you have this opportunity to take the audio version of that and put it in people's ears in 120 different countries, and get them when they're walking their dogs or on their commutes or wherever. And so it's about finding where your potential audience is, and it may be somebody that prefers audio only, and it may be someone that prefers to be able to see you every once in a while. And it's about creating content that is appropriate for those platforms, and not burning yourself out to try to do all the things. And I think that's something we should talk about too, for as creators.
Yeah.
Because I know that's on the docket tonight, is omnipresence and the ability to manage being in all those places.
Right, you're using some big words here. Okay. See, here come
Because he's
Atlanta.
stoned.
Listen, I'm trying to be like Dr. Hicks, man.
Over there, Atlanta coming through with these big words. So, well, let me ask this, and I just want to be a kind of rebuttal statement here. Yeah, we understand that it makes sense. Yeah, we understand that there's value, but listen, there's 24 hours, and we got a lot of things going on. How do you find you make the time, take the time? And I guess that's the question as well. You make the time or you take the time to do both. Do you have to do both? Should we take this 45, 60-minute session, convert it into audio just right out of the gate? Or should we do some ad libs, some massaging to it? How do you find and make the time to do both when we're already doing this? Yeah, we got isolated audio and video files, and I can just take that, but that seems like I'm cheating the audience. I'd be cheating the community if I just took what comes out of here generically without finessing it or something of that. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Or does it?
Talk to me.
And what I mean by that,
Yeah,
at the
come on
end
now.
of that, you said, am I cheating the audience out of it? Because here's the thing, this is the way I see it. I think I have a very limited time. I don't know, you all might have, infinite amounts of time, but I only have a limited amount of time. And so when we talk about, or we think about how to repurpose effectively, one of the ways that I do think about my live streams, my video content, is how can I make sure that I'm creating it from the start in such a way that I can also cut a few items out, but not overly edit, for it now to become, converted over into audio form.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not intentional and I'm not thinking about that, and I'm simply like, showing things on screen and, to heck with the people that are, on audio, whatever. Like if I'm not thoughtful about it, yes, that's a cheat. But I feel like there's opportunities for us to be intentional about the content that we create that one time, that 1 hour, and to convert that into different forms. So text version, audio version, the video version, the short clips, the images. And I want to make the most of that hour and turn that into as much visibility as possible. That's my goal.
Listen, before we go on, I just want to state, okay, appreciate you, be extraordinary women. That was a lob. That was a softball question. I'm setting these folks up. Y'all gonna not make me look like a fool on my own.
Keep
I
it
just want,
coming, Chad. I love when you call out Hicks, Chad. Let's do it.
let's make sure we get that lined up right there. Some of these things are planned to shine the light on these phenomenal co-hosts. I just want to make sure I don't look like no fool too much. Okay.
Never.
I'll leave that alone.
Can I get in there?
You better get in here.
Okay. So I know you're busy, but you still asked me to be a guest on your show.
Mm-mm.
I like your show. I've been following your show for a minute. And I thought, since I am a guest on your show and I know you're busy, I take the time to take the transcript to make blog posts and the Notebook LM audio recaps, because I think it's a good show and that more people need to see it. And I do that because you took the time to invite me to be a guest on your show. So that's it. That's all I had to say, because I know you're busy, and I thought that would be a thing that would help somebody who took the time to invite you to be on their show.
Yeah, appreciate that. And I was gonna give you some flowers on that, because the stuff you've been putting out, I saw a couple of the posts like on LinkedIn. I said, what in the world? This child wasn't even in the room, but putting the summary out there again, allowing it to live another life for the contextual piece. So the text of the output of the video and things of that. So that was dope. And Notebook LM is the platform that you're using on that. So, Chris, your thoughts on that, man? Because again, I threw that softball out there, just wondering, like Florence is always telling me, 1,440 minutes in a day. You got to be cognizant, you got to be conscious, you got to be efficient with those and be productive. But I'm just asking the question, how?
Yeah, shout out to Florence. Shout out and yeah, just make sure it's slow pitch softball. Okay, like I can't, like it's late for me on.
I'm throwing them out, brother.
So,
I'm on
slow
one.
Pitch softball.
I'm on one today.
So you talked about should people do audio? Should people do video? Like all of that thing, and that is a huge thing right now in this industry. And there's also conversations about what is or what isn't a podcast. A lot of this stuff we're not in control of. Who is in control is the people that are consuming this content, and what they're calling it, what it ends up being, unfortunately, is out of our control. So I'm not going to have that conversation. But what I will say is, if someone is sitting there talking about doing the podcast, or maybe they've done an audio only podcast and they're reticent to do video, is that you don't have to do video. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Like we're on a video show. Hopefully this is being repurposed in audio, or maybe you're just listening. You don't have to do video, but you also have to understand you will not get found as much. You just won't. That is the truth. That when you don't take your content and repurpose it into video platforms, and take that content and put it into places where people can discover your content, where audio only is not present, you are choosing to not get found as much. So as creators, as someone that like I have, a mission to do this, or I want to get on, sell more books, get on more stages, whatever your thing is, whatever business is, your pest control, whatever, you are choosing to not get found as much. And so if you feel like you have something that you're delivering to the world, you're saying, I am choosing for you not to consume it. And that's what the difference is when you don't do video. So all of those things that keep you from doing video, if it's fear, or if it's all those other things that might keep you from doing video, just understand you don't have to do it, but you may not get found as much.
That's come to Jesus right there. Right, because we got the choice. Right. We've
I mean,
always heard, oh, start with audio. The audio's got to be dope. Obviously, we know that piece right there, and audio has had the
has to be.
longevity. But 2024, 2025, 2026, today and tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
folks want to see Tanya Smith. They want to see Erica Bates. They want to see Stone. No one wants to see me with the jazz hands and doing all. But right, being able to see the inflection, the emotion, and the
Yes.
real you. If we're passionate about this stuff, so we talk about it, and you can't say this as easy in audio. You can hear the inflection in the voice, but to show that we're all looking square into our four cameras right now, and we're emoting, and we're doing all of these, that means we care about it and we're passionate about it. You can't fake that. I guess is where I'm trying to get to. And potential brands,
I see where you're
potential
going.
clients. Well,
Yeah.
man, somebody write that. Let me put a marker, because that's gonna be a clip in about 3 hours all over the internet.
Okay.
Shouts out to this script.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you don't, if you like, this is the difference. This is the difference, ladies and gentlemen, of how you can take your content and be different than what is being generated and slopped onto the internet, and will continue to be slopped onto the internet. And if you don't have human interactions on
Yes.
video, you're in trouble.
Yes.
Okay. That's just the bottom line. I hate to, I don't want to make things, uneasy for people, but I think a lot of people need to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
There's the slop tsunami's coming, right? The slop nami's coming, and there's going to be a lot of content that's making a lot of noise that you don't have any control over. And a lot of people are okay consuming that content, even knowing that it's AI generated.
Yeah.
And if you don't do the things that these robots can do and the software can do, which is, do what humans do, talk about your experiences, connect with people online, create communities like Tanya Smith does. And those are the things that these, VO3 and Kling and all these programs cannot do.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'll back off. I'm
No,
gonna
no,
back
you're
off from the
Keep
totally
going,
go
brother.
ahead
on
and
it.
let
Go
you
ahead,
go.
Tanya. Get in there, because this is the place to have
You,
that. Because again, we don't know. No one is having that conversation
right.
anywhere else. It's always the let's be safe. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
get started. Let's
Yeah.
just do the do. And before anyone else chips in, I was talking to you, Chris, the other day, and I was saying, man, I've been talking a lot of madness these last few weeks, right? I've been really
Mm-hmm.
on one, telling folks I'm tired of folks saying that they can't
Yeah.
when they can. So get out of your own way, rise above this noise, because there's a lot of noise out there, just like you were saying. And you can't fake it by just putting something into a prompt. You can write a dope prompt. I wrote a dope prompt today to do something, but
Yeah.
that's not going to be
I
the
knew
end
that
all
was
to be
coming.
all. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It won't be enough. It won't be enough.
It
The
won't be
thing,
enough.
what you just
That's
said,
right.
both of you just made the point that you're making is so relevant and so critical right now. And I literally have been talking about this every day for like the last month, because what people are not understanding is that AI is so accessible right now everywhere to anyone, and it's affordable. If you can go on to Midjourney now and pay $10 a month and have crazy good video, right? The challenge is, and the problem is for you, is if that's all you're doing, if all you're doing is faceless videos, if all you're doing, and I'm not knocking these things, I'm saying these are great, they're creative. I love to leverage AI in ways that people haven't, it's not the like status quo, right? I love that. But people are going to continue to go into a spiral of, wait a minute, is that real or is it Memorex? Y'all remember that phrase? Is that real? Is that a real human? And they are going to be craving, the differentiator will be you being a person who knows your stuff. So not only should you be getting on camera and talking about what you know, but you need to know some things. Like we need to be continuous learners. So we need to learn the AI stuff and how to leverage it as a tool. It needs to enhance our knowledge, but it should not replace who we are as people. And people in the very near future are going to be so overwhelmed with all of this robotic AI technology stuff they're going to be looking for pockets of communities. This is why communities are such a big thing right now, because people are looking for human interaction. And so what better way to do that, to give that, than to show up on your camera and to talk to real people and acknowledge them. I shared a clip the other day, and then I promise I'll be quiet. But a clip the other day where this man was just so, he was just like overwhelmed
I saw
because
that.
I
That was dope.
simply sent, it was so dope.
Yeah.
It had me in tears. All I sent him, y'all, was a note to say, I just wanted to send a personal thank you. And I named him. I said, Tom, I wanted to say thank you for subscribing and thank you for being one of my first paid subscribers on Substack. I really appreciate you took the time. And he was like blown away. It's like, remember when people used to have a lot of postcards and stuff? If you send a handwritten postcard to a person today, that is like golden.
You a friend for life.
Right? Because everybody's doing everything electronically. And so that stands out. And so that's where we all, everybody who's listening to this and watching us, we're saying to you that the charge is to stand up and be human, even as you're leveraging these tools, but interact with people because they need your connection. And everybody's not going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
But you will have people that are for you and you're for them. And you need to position and plant a flag somewhere with video.
With
Just
video. No, I love that piece. So you're saying what's new is old, right? This new technology is really old school common sense thinking, right? Respect people, acknowledge worth, that kind of thing. I'm gonna put the caveat on it because again, the conversation is around audio and video. How do we do that? How do we bring that personality in just a voice? Is it just the inflection points? Is it? Let me not even try to assume, but the three of you, how do we do that again? If we want to go that route, if we got a strong suit in the audio piece, and we're not ready to go video, I'm just going to say that if someone's not ready to do that, how do I bring about that? And bring about the Toms to my community, to my network, and have that relationship if I'm just talking on an audio podcast?
For me, with your show, Tanya show,
Yeah,
and
go ahead,
Chris, sorry, it's just a conversation that you all have. That's why I'm a fan of your shows, because you guys have great conversations. Tanya had a conversation with, what's her name? I think her last name is Rodriguez, Tatiana. And it was at least 2 hours. And Tanya said he had to wrap it up because it's gone 2 hours. I would have stayed 5 hours if they would have kept that conversation going, because it was that good. So, and another time, Chris had a show. He was talking to Tanya, but he knew me as Talk Virtual. And he said, "Hey, Erica Bates, thanks for being here." And I love that he knew my name, not just what I showed up as on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the conversations that you guys have. You guys make people feel welcome, and we want to join in on the fun because you guys look so happy when you're on camera.
I'm so, wow. That is so key.
Let that marinate.
That is absolutely so key. Yeah. But you said something, Erica, and you kind of breezed by it there at the end, and that word is fun. And man, if this wasn't fun, if this was not fun, I can promise you I would not be here.
trust.
I will promise you I'll not be here. My wife is upstairs. My dog is upstairs. My son is coming home tonight. I got things to do. Everybody's got things to do. James has got his devices going off. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. But you know what?
There you go.
I get to hang with these three people tonight, and I get to sharpen the saw. I get to get better, and I can have fun. And that's a type of energy. You can do that in an audio perspective. And I think, James, back to what you're saying, I think people can build communities with audio only podcasts. I don't want you to I got a little dark earlier. I'm not gonna lie, but I do think that it is still possible for you to do that. You have to get creative. You can't do what has been done in radio and early podcasting and expect people to climb a hill right after you. You have to be creative. You have to understand your your audience, who you want to deliver your message to, and understand what are their problems, what are they going through, what is the medicine that I can deliver to them so that they can be better, that they can experience something, even in an audio perspective. If you know that person has a commute that's generally 12 minutes, what are you doing an hour-long podcast? They can't consume all of that information. So start to do creative things, what Katie Brinkley is doing with her QuickCast and Rocky Mountain Marketing. Like, you have to understand who it is and really have a laser focus and never lose sight of it and move like a shark, because that audience changes. And okay, I'm looking at the data. Oh, they're doing this. Ooh, okay, maybe I should be doing this. Maybe I should test this out and do a sprint for 30 days. Let my audience know I'm going to be doing this. Have them always in mind. And you can still do that from an audio perspective. I've got clients that do that. And they've built this community over years. And so these people have this longstanding trust in them. So somebody that's just starting out, I would always suggest fire up your camera, always do video in tandem with audio. If you're not comfortable with how you look just yet, you're comfortable at least doing the reps on video. And then eventually you'll start looking like James Hicks. You'll start looking like Erica Bates. You'll start looking like Tanya Smith, and you'll be comfortable a little bit more on video.
Dope.
You see how I did that, James?
I see how you did that.
He did. He put that out there. I love options. I love options.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Clubhouse was amazing.
Wow.
And it was only audio, y'all. And there were a lot of communities, like powerful communities created on Clubhouse back in the day. And it was only conversation. So the point being that no matter how you choose, because going back to what Chris said earlier, it's a choice. You don't have to do it the way that anybody else is doing it, but you need to do something. If you want your message heard, if you want to create conversations that are powerful, if you want to show up in a way that's going to make a positive impact, because we need more positive everything right now. If you want any of those things, just choose something, for goodness sake. If it's just audio to start, so be it. But to your point, Chris, you're making the choice to diminish the possibilities when you don't do video. If you do video, you can leverage that into all of the different forms of media. And I know I'm on that soapbox all the time because, my company is Get Noticed with Video LLC, right? But at the same time, I understand, even in my own personal community, probably about 60 to 70% of them, it took them 2 to 3 years before they finally said, okay, I'm going to do video. They joined a video community, for goodness sake. And they were like, we
understand the words coming out of my mouth.
I'm telling you, they were like, we're here because we love the conversation. We love your systems and the workflows and the things that you put together. And we can apply this to what we're doing until we're ready. And a couple of days ago, a few of my stream bosses were like, oh my God, I went live on such and such platform. And they were so excited. And one of them today said, Tanya, don't you say anything. Because I was like, told you you would love it, but you have to be ready.
Yeah.
There's a season for everything. So please don't say to yourself, well, they're saying all this, but I just don't have the equipment, or I don't feel like physically ready, or I don't feel whatever it is, but do something. Take a step. That's all we're asking.
My own Lane Trunking is saying that you got the mirror pointed at her. So we're going to leave that alone.
Hey.
But appreciate you. She said, we all look good. Let me do this before I keep going, because I had the aha moment, and this is for the audience, because my co-host didn't think it was going to happen. There was 2 subject matters that I wanted to pivot into tonight. And literally just when Tanya was talking and Chris started it, the second topic came up, and striving for perfection instead of striving to be different, and understanding how it all. So that literally came into the conversation. So I'm over here just grinning like a proud uncle. Y'all don't understand, but I knew it was going to happen. I knew there was going to be a tie-in to trying to do all the things, trying to do the audio, trying to do the video, trying to be in all the places. But if you can't really do that if that doesn't make sense. back to what Chris was saying, the fact that we are here and it's evening time, we got family, we're East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, wherever the case may be, we got family, we got other things to go on. Nobody would be here if we didn't enjoy the reps, if we didn't enjoy the conversation, if we didn't enjoy building relationships with each other and with our communities. Folks, these other three dynamic hosts would not be streaming to their own individual communities and platforms if they didn't think that their community, that the My Own Lane trucking consultants would find value in this conversation. So I humbly take that and want to show up just for that. So I wanted to put that out there just because that matters. We don't do this just to talk and to be in front of a microphone and be in front of a camera, trying to bring some value. We feel we're bringing value, and someone can take what we're saying and tomorrow do something different, learn something, be 10% better the next time they get up to the microphone, they get up in front of the camera, they get up and tell a story, they get up and do a speech, whatever the case may be. That's why we don't do this for us. Literally, we don't. When Tanya gets the video message from Tom saying thank you, that's why we do it. That's literally
That's
why
right.
I think that we do this. Tall boy, we see you in there. What's happening with your brother? Yeah, proud uncle. Man, I'm over here just
What's up, tall
grinning
boy?
like Morgan Freeman. Okay. Okay.
If he had his own
You want to go
coffee.
ahead and announce?
Did
You
I
want to
just
go
put it
ahead
out
and
there?
announce season 3 of Rebooted now, James?
I'm waiting on him, man.
Now the
Hey,
tall boy's in the chat.
hey, I'm waiting on
Oh,
him.
okay.
He know.
Hey, listen, I got
It's
my
out there.
reminder set on
It's
all
out
on
there.
all my devices, and I'm waiting for that to hit, man.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy, you
Okay.
being called out. I'm about to call you by your government name, but I'm gonna leave that alone right
Best
there. I know
vertical
he
show
probably
on the
sitting in his
internet.
room right
What's
now
up?
just laughing and giggling, but saying why they put me out there in these streets.
Now, James, you talked about being different, and I think a lot of people that might see my content and they go, okay, like he's doing some wacky stuff here, he's doing whatever, and that it may be different. It's not, and I'm not talking about being different from the standpoint of, hey, I'm somebody that I know that I need shorts, so I'm going to throw it into this piece of software and I'm going to get 15 shorts out of it, and then I'm going to be able to sprinkle that all over the internet. Yeah, you're probably not going to be, setting yourself apart from a lot of other people that are probably doing the same thing. What I'm talking about is kind of going back to right now what's happening in AI as it relates to content creation. And that is the only thing you're in control of in being different is being yourself and putting that out there, talking about your experiences, right?
Mhm.
Doing what we're doing here tonight, right? And having this experience and opening it up to people and talking to Tall Boy and all, Florence and everybody here that's in the chat. This is the kind of stuff that can't be replicated.
Yeah.
It cannot be replicated by something else. It's an experience. It's creating a community, and that is different than what can be created by the tsunami that's coming with all of these other platforms, because people will choose to get information and know that it's generated by AI, and they won't choose your information that was generated by a human. They're okay with it. They just need what they need. They didn't care that it was a bot delivering that. So what are we doing that's different?
Yeah. Let's
And
go down
that's
that
really
path.
what I'm talking about.
You open that door. Let's go down that path because we're in the minority. Unfortunately, it's a lot easier to, and I love them all too. I love the open AIs, the Claudes, the Merlins, the Magis. All I love them, right? Because they help take steps out of the workflow and
Yes.
allow me to be more efficient. And I'm all about taking administrative steps out of my workflow so I can be more efficient, be more productive. So I'm all about that, but I don't take that output as the end all to be all.
Right.
But the majority, unfortunately, it is. And anytime you do a search on the second biggest search engine on the planet, YouTube, or the first biggest search engine on the planet, which is Google, same company. Anytime you do a search, the majority of the stuff that's coming out today is really being generated by a large language model.
Yes.
How do we put a dent in the universe, like my old boss used to say?
It's what Lotta is my own lane trucking consultant. So Lotta Love Hawkins. Hey, girl. Look, she just said it in the comments. True storytelling. Storytelling is an art. Chris just said it. There's nobody that can tell the story the way that you can. There's nobody that's going to have the unique set of experiences and filters and just like real-time knowledge and heart like you. And so this is what I mean when I say that enough of us sitting up here saying, well, I want to have 10,000 or I'm not doing it at all, right? These people who have these dreams of, let me have 100,000 people in my audience. I'm not going to say I gave that up. I'm going to say I learned to blossom where I'm seated. I learned that if I have 10 people in my space, I want to take care of and nurture them and do the best I can for them and to show up personally as myself. And again, leverage the AI tools, like you said, to get more done more quickly. But at the same time, I feel a responsibility to work within the space where I am. Yes, it would be nice to have 10,000, but then I'm kind of like, do I really want that? Because am I going to be able to give the personal attention? Probably not. I'm then going to have to assign and outsource somebody else to take on some of those personal conversations that I love to get to have right now. I wouldn't have the time to have a Tom video, right? So I think that we have to get in the space of understanding whatever our assignment is, we need to follow that through. And the growth will come from that. What your assignment is meant for you. I just feel like we have to get that comfort level, and then we can leverage our stories and share our experiences because that's resonating with a particular group of people that are going to start to show up and be in our space because they're hearing your story and it's touching them right here. And AI is never going to do that. It can help enhance your story, sure. It can help you to structure it in a certain way so that it can be heard and you can remove obstacles, but it is not the story. You're the storyteller.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doors of the church are now open.
I want to get in on this because I hate it when people told their stories. I wanted nothing more for them to stop. I hate it when people invited guests on their show and then talk over them because they wanted to take time to tell their stories. I hated that. But at the same time, I love you guys. I love the stories you tell. And I don't know what's the difference between you guys telling the story and the people interjecting or interrupting their guests to tell their story about how they got started or something like that.
What one person says, or what Chris Stone says about Descript, actually, let's say there's two different things, right? So Chris, you're talking about the same topic that I talk about. We both talk about live streaming. There's a whole family of people in eCam that tell stories and that teach live streaming. But what somebody said to me not too long ago really hits home, and I think it's going to answer the question or what you just posed and put out there, Erica. They said, I was sending them to an eCam course that somebody else had created. And they said, yeah, I don't learn that way. I tried that person and I don't learn well from them. But I learn and I understand from you because you're my people. Like, we communicate in a certain way. So I think there's something for everyone. And that's what I mean when I say not everyone's for everyone, right? There's something for everyone. So while Chris might be telling a story that's probably similar in nature to the story that I have as to why we're doing live stream, he's telling it from his own filter, his own set of experiences. And you might not hear and connect with him as well as you do with me, or vice versa, which is why I stopped getting mad when people would unsubscribe from my email list. Because then I realized you're just right sizing my community. You're not really my people, and that's okay. And I forgive you and I understand I'm not you and you're not for me, right? But you'll find that community that's right for you. And I think we have to get comfortable with that there's going to be a circle of trust that we each build based on how we communicate and connect, and it's going to be different. It doesn't
That
have
makes
to
a lot
all
of
be the same. Yeah.
You
Yeah, we
have
are not for
to find,
everyone.
let me do this. You have to
That
find the content that resonates with
please.
you. Everyone
Yes.
is not for you. I want
Yes.
that right there is it.
That's right.
And it's a grown folk reality to come to that point that Tanya was just saying. I'm sorry, Chris, I'll let you chop in because I know Eric was just talking about don't be crossing over
Jumping in.
folks that are talking Lord. But listen, I'm a seasoned man. I'm an
Go ahead
old
and
man.
slap me
So
upside the head, Eric.
you know, things come into my head, and when they come in, I got to get them out because I'll forget. Everyone is not right for everyone, and that is okay. And it's it really is I don't want to say adult, but it's really it's a grown folk adult
is.
type of thing to realize that man, everyone ain't for me,
Yeah.
and the numbers don't really.
But you know what the good news is?
Yeah.
You know what the good news is, James?
Well,
That opens a door for you to talk about the same stuff somebody else does. And I can't tell you that how many people get stuck on that.
Yes.
Like, oh, well, I'm the same type of retailer as this person, and he already has a show like this, and she already has a show like this, and they're talking about this, and they're talking about leadership. And I was like, stop.
Mhm.
You are not them. The difference between you and them is your experiences. Like we could be talking about the exact same, RE20 microphone. But what James says about this mic and what I say about the mic are two different things and can connect with multiple different types of people. And some people may not like my voice. They may not like I have some vocal tick that they don't like. Like there's all kinds of different stuff. And to Tanya's point, like I played in bands for years, all the way up through college before I chopped my hair off and decided to become a grown
so you
man
still
and,
got the hair
and
flip,
moved to
though.
Atlanta and yeah, thank you.
It's
I
cute,
knew as soon as I mentioned hair, James would do that.
Inside joke between me and Chris.
But I've been on little stages in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, in Evansville, Indiana. I've had beer bottles thrown at me. I've had bad reviews in bands. I've had all kinds of like hecklers calling me at college radio stations during interviews. And I think that kind of built up this whole thing where if somebody's going to jump in the chat and say something really super nasty about me or talk about this, that, or the other, I'm kind of like, at this point, whatever. But to someone who hasn't gone through that kind of stuff, that can really be harrowing, right? Because I remember the first time I got a bad review or the first time somebody heckled me or whatever. Like it is a thing, right? And so I think you just have to understand everybody gets that, right? You are for someone. You have to just find that person.
Yeah.
That's dope. I like the name of this channel here. Flip Your Marketing Flops.
Me too.
That's why I put the
Shout out to
comments
Joe
up there.
Self Jr.
Is that?
He's the owner of that channel.
I ain't mad
Love
at
it.
that. I love it. And I like what he said there. So that is why it is good to have partnerships with people who do exactly what you do also. And again, kind of resonates with the three of us.
Sure.
The three of you were just saying that. Don't pay attention to the haters. Stay away from all of the negativity. Do your thing. Be authentically you. But at the end of the day, and then kind of back to the subject matter, audio or video, trying to reach your community, trying to reach your network, understanding that is not necessarily always going to be 80,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That is not always going to be 100,000 people on your newsletter list. That may just be 30. That may just be 30 cool folks that just rock with you, and then that just blossoms out, and then you start even taking it from virtual. You start going hybrid. You actually start maybe doing some things in person. Those are your people, and you can rock with that, and you can get the financial gain from that. You can get the personal gain from that. You can get the professional gain from that. You can be you and be whatever your definition of success is, without having whatever the trophy of success is that other people are chasing.
Yeah. and be comfortable and confident about that, and celebrate every win. Right?
Yeah.
I was celebrating the other day. I'm like, oh my God, I made 2,500 subscribers. And I know to some people, like,
Gangster.
y'all,
See, don't
because,
do that. Don't
because
do that.
Hicks is gangster, like
Oh,
17,000
you
on
see,
his
I just
YouTube channel.
got the email from Rob Wilson from vidIQ just now. But see, let's not do that.
See, okay, but congrats though. Seriously,
No, it
serious
was a
talk.
little humble flex right there. That was a
Yeah.
He
humble
did.
flex.
He's
You heard
trying to
that?
make it. I know he's trying to make it
There's
like
no
it's,
I,
oh,
it's
it's
we.
nothing,
There's no I, it's
but I
we.
got the letter.
I did. I just now, literally 4:40 p.m.
Exactly.
Hey,
Exactly.
congratulations.
Look, and I'm so
Stop.
proud of you. But because I'm proud of you doesn't
Yeah.
mean I'm not proud of me. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
that's where I wanted to go with that is I want people to celebrate every win. This stuff takes time. It takes energy. The way I do it is different. I have a full-time corporate job on top of doing an almost full-time business with a whole bunch of other responsibilities. The way I do it is the way I choose to do it. And it may mean that it's a little bit slower and it's going to look like a different journey, but I celebrate every win. And so I want to encourage people, no matter what your story is, whatever your path is, that is your path. And you can't sit there and compare your path to a James Hicks or a Chris Stone or Erica Bates, right? Because you are you. And whatever your wins are, you're competing with yourself. You're looking at what you did last year and am I improving? And if you're
Yeah.
improving and you're getting better, that's the game, right? How are you improving? How are you continuously learning and growing? Don't stop. It doesn't look, the whole midlife unmuted thing. The reason why I started that podcast is a
Man, talk
limited
about that.
series.
Talk about that.
Look, the reason why
Yeah.
I did it is because I was like, I need people to understand that just because you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it really doesn't matter where you are in the game. I know we see a lot of folks celebrated that are younger than that, but your life is not over unless you say so. So
Mm.
you need to start operating like I still got a lot left. And as long as I'm here on this earth, then I need to contribute in a way that I'm meant to contribute. So I love seeing the people who are constant learners, y'all, because the more you learn, the more stories you get to tell. You won't run out of content. You won't have
Yeah.
to be like, oh, AI, tell me what I should talk about today, because you will always have something to share. You will always have content. You will always have stories. You will always have a lesson or a mistake or something that you're learning from so that you can pass it on to the next generation and the people that are beyond your generation, right? But you have to keep learning, keep reading. I want people to read more. Please, for goodness sake, stop just listening to other people's opinions and read for your own self and understand and comprehend. Okay, let me get off that. But
Stay on that.
Coach him up, Miss Smith.
I'm
Coach
just
him up.
saying.
I'm about to run through a wall. Remember the Titans right here.
Can I say that I like that you guys post that you're doing well? I like to know that I can see people and connect with people who are doing well. So I like that about you guys. So keep that. I want to celebrate with you.
I love it. I love it. Pikachu, look, what you doing away, child? It's okay. We appreciate you for being here. She
Yes.
normally clock in a little
Shout out to
bit
Eden.
clock out early. I appreciate you for being here with us. So let's do this. I mean, this is all phenomenal, and I love that we were asked for the world tour. So we're gonna take this on the road, coming to a city near you. We gonna start. Where was that you were at, Chris? Biloxi? I don't know. It's hot over there. So
Biloxi.
I don't know.
What?
Where'd you say?
Hattiesburg.
Hattiesburg.
Tal's
okay.
Dart Bar, Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Okay.
Shout out.
Okay, as long as they got some barbecue, we can make it over there, and
True.
and
They got
Tom
all
will
you
be
can
there,
eat.
and he'll
They got
pay
all
for
you can eat
everything.
place.
Well, since you're talking about states, I got to let you know I'm in the best state in the whole union.
See,
So
Lord have mercy.
South Carolina.
The show's over,
yeah.
y'all. Show's over.
What?
She tripping.
Wow.
She said South Carolina is the best state. That's what she said.
She flexing on all y'all.
I'm in
Union.
Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas. So
We'll leave that to
And
y'all
we're all
before we
southeast
go.
except for
Everything's-
James, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, all y'all, over there
the
in Mason
South.
Dixon. Come on.
South. Dirty South. ATL.
Y'all over there. Y'all outcasts. Y'all ATLians. All right, listen. Let's do this. Let's get this train back on the tracks here, because all of that resonates. All that makes sense. And I touched on it real quick about the perfectionism, right? Being different. And I think just everyone kind of bring this plane in, your perspective, your perception on, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people doing the same thing or going to be doing the same thing, using all of these platforms, great platforms. But we're seeing, and we've talked about the use cases, the value of being our own individual self and not being afraid of being different. Let's just kind of go around the horn and talk about that. And then if anybody's got questions specifically, I've been putting the comments up, but if you got questions for these heavyweight hitters right here, good Lord, let me take another picture because I want to make sure that the other one doesn't get lost. Goodness gracious. Let me get that. There we go. Got it. Instead of striving for perfection, strive for difference. Erica Bates, let's start with you, sis. How you doing?
Like, so far so good. I'm still in the best state in the whole union. But I like to think that there are rules to things. And if you follow those rules, that means that's your perfection. I gave an example earlier about being a graphic designer and knowing the design rules. And if you take the chance of going against those rules, you got to have a good reason for it. And that's you being different. And at the same time, does your target audience recognize those rules, and will they realize that you are being different and the why in your difference? Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I'm just leaving these comments up there because you was getting chastised for your statements about the union.
So, it's true. My husband told me to stop telling people because people are moving here, but it's still true.
Right on. Ms. Smith, what about you? Because I know you. You just
go ahead.
You are, everything that you do is different, right? Again, you use. I'm gonna throw some more flowers out here, right? Just some more kudos. I wake up in the morning and there's 10 posts from you that say something very poignant using different pieces of technology. I mean, and there's a newsletter post, there's a LinkedIn article, there's a quick short, and they're branded to the T, right? With your color scheme and with the and I sometimes I don't know if it's you or if it's an AI generated avatar. Half the time I'm zooming in, just like I'm looking at some of Chris's stuff that come in shorts. I'm like, is this real or is it Memorex? But that different piece right there, because again, we're all using those tools, but how are you so different and so consistent?
Yeah.
I know the answer, but I want to hear it. How are you so different? How are you so consistent every single time you press record or you press publish?
Yeah. I am clear. Now more clear than I ever was. And I didn't start clear, right? I didn't have the clarity, but I am clear on my brand. So I am clear on what my mastery is and what I want to be known for. I am clear on who my market is, my target audience. And if other people want to come along for the ride, that's cool. I am clear on my message. And I'm clear on the method by which I get people to solutions. So when you have those pillars of clarity, to me, those are the 4 pillars of brand. If you have those down, everything else just comes together. And so me being able to go and to create abundant content and be consistent is because I have that clarity. So when I first sat down and I was thinking about my message, right? And my message was, it was born out of the fact that for myself, I experienced the power of live streaming to build community and to become a lead generation tool for me. I experienced that. And so I was able to talk to people about different ways in which that helped. So I knew that confidence was a thing. I knew that consistency is a thing that people struggle with. I knew that conversion of people viewing into becoming paid clients was a thing. And knowing those things, because I had those pillars straight, is what allows me to then go into a Chat GPT or a Claude or any of those other tools and say, I want you to review my last 10 live streams and the points and the messages that I talked about. And I want you to convert those into social media posts around these topics that I believe strongly in. And I
My
want you
goodness.
to be trained to know my brand, my persona, my INTJ personality, and my manifesting generator design. I want you to become that voice and enhance what I'm already talking about and create hundreds of posts for me. So technically behind the scenes, that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm showing up, James. But also, let me not miss this piece, and that is the creative energy. I talked about this the other day. I had to at some point stop. I had to pause and say, wait a minute. I don't want to lose my own creative energy. I need to go back to when I was a kid and I was sitting down and I was doodling and I was writing stories out of my head, and AI, nobody knew nothing about no AI. I want to go back to that place and make sure that as I'm feeding these tools with my creativity, right, I have a vision of what I want it to help me create. And that's how I'm able to do all those things, because I'm not forgetting who I am. And I've got those pillars straight.
Hopefully, y'all got a notebook and a pen. Your pencil lead probably broke because she just told y'all.
That's true.
She, and that right there, that's a whole. I'm not a master class kind of person, but that's some premium content right there. So y'all make sure y'all check the description, because I got the links to everyone. But Tanya's got a community, and I'm sure she will gladly spend some time breaking down them pillars. See what I'm doing? I'm throwing them out there. Catch him. I'm throwing them out. Chris, I don't know how you gonna follow that, because Lord have mercy.
Yeah, thanks for
Chris
that,
got his
James. I
own.
appreciate that.
Texas
Just let
came
me
through.
put me on right after Tanya
Yeah,
Smith.
Texas came
That'll
through,
work.
boy.
Yeah.
Listen.
I don't even remember what the question was. I got lost in Tanya's whole thing, man.
Whatever.
That's just she's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I think, listen, perfect is boring. Perfect is boring. Okay? So if you're striving for perfection, you're striving to be boring. The first rule of podcasting is never be boring. Okay? What makes things interesting is you. What makes things interesting is what we can bring to this. And I'm not saying like I'm an anti-AI guy. I'm a pro-AI guy. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming. And I'm not trying to instill fear in everyone, but I want people to get going. I want them to get behind the wheel and start creating content that makes them different than the tsunami that's coming. And what makes you different than this stuff is you. And so you have to dig deep, and you have to do things like Tanya just told this story about how she went back and how she was creating before AI was, and how, like, that's why you get lost in this stuff. You're not going to get any of that stuff from VO3 and from Kling and from Claude and from all of these things. You have to, and don't get scared. Stay curious in this thing. Start playing with these things and utilize some of these models and say, hey, I can use this, right? But I have to not put out slop. I have to do something that's different, that is Tanya Smith, that's James Hicks, that's Erica, that's Chris, that is different from what people are doing. Because if you stay on that path and you stay curious, you will never be boring. You'll always be interesting, and you'll always rise above the noise.
Can I add one more thing about perfectionism?
I was letting that marinate too. Again, I'm all these food analogies that I'm using.
I was wondering if we got disconnected or something.
No, brother, listen, I know when to be quiet.
Mic drop.
I've been married 26 years. I know when to be quiet. Okay.
One more thing about perfectionism. I know you said it's boring, Chris, but can you take a moment to take in the graphics that James has made for us? It's on point. The layout design of this.
Well, it ain't perfect.
I love it.
Well, it's awesome.
Love it.
It's awesome.
And you got to know
So do
something.
I
feel like you got to know what you're doing before you can say, hey, I'm going to stand out of these design rules. Because he's so on point with it. And they're so nice.
Oh, I didn't say don't be excellent. I didn't say
Okay.
not strive for excellence. I want you and I want everyone listening and watching to be as excellent as they can be. But what I
Please.
don't want people to do is to look at a show like this and think, I'll never do this. I'll never
Mm.
be this good. So
Yep.
I'm not going to do it. And that's like, you owe it to the world to do it. It doesn't matter that you got stuff like the fonts are off and the video's out and things are like, keep going. James Hicks didn't start out like this. This show didn't
wake
start
up
out like
like
this.
that.
So I never
Sure
said,
didn't.
no,
Sure didn't.
I never said don't strive for excellence. I strive for excellence as much as I possibly can every single day. But I know I need to encourage people when they look at their algorithms on YouTube, they're getting the best of the best that's shown to them in their algorithms. And they look at it and they say, I'll never be able to do that. And they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to get past. We have to understand, like, yes, you can. There are people in James, you talked about it. It may be 30 people. It may be 5 people. It may be 100,000 people. It doesn't matter. Like, you can't look at this and go and look at something that is excellent, like the quality of this show. James, shout out. It was amazing, sir.
Yep.
Bow down. But like, just if you're watching this and listening to this, don't think that you can't one day do this, because James didn't wake up like this.
No, I sure didn't. I'm just going to keep saying it again. Let me tell you something. and I appreciate that and appreciate the kudos, but it's all of us again. There's no I. It's all we and team here. I still, and some of you remember the story a number of years ago when someone within our community, JP High Tech, called me at 11 o'clock my time at night and said, listen, your content is dope. The message is right, but you need to tighten up them overlays. You need to tighten up them scenes. You need to tighten up those thumbnails. Child, y'all know I stayed up about 3 hours. I stayed up till 1 o'clock that night. And I took that feedback, that criticism, that information, and I got out of my own way. There was no ego. And I said, you know what? I'm going to continue to get better. And that's what we're all doing. Continue to get better each and every time I show up. And I was so happy when I sent him the storyboard of what the next show was going to look like, to get the thumbs up and the approval from someone who I looked up from a design perspective, right? Because that's what he does all day, every single day. And for him to take the time late at night, because he's East Coast as well, and say, hey, bro, you got it. You getting there. Just do this, do that, and do this. And I said, yes, I will do that. I will listen. I will get out of my own way. There's no ego. And I will continue to strive to get better. And what I'm doing as well, not tooting horns here or anything, but taking whatever knowledge I have and bringing up someone else. Right.
Yeah.
Someone else who's
You do that
earlier
all the
on
time.
in the process, in the stage, who wants to do the thing, kind of like Chris is saying, who thinks that, well, if I can't do it, if I don't have that mic, I don't have them lights, I don't have that FX3. Shouts out to the FX3 over there. Good Lord. Okay. That is looking okay. But you can do this without all of that, because that doesn't matter. All right.
Yeah. I started with a laptop the laptop built-in webcam, the one that like points directly up your nose. It was a PC. So it was just an odd angle. That's how I started
It was a
doing
nose hair
live
cam.
stream.
You know what
It
I'm saying?
was. It was. And I
Tanya
was
with the
like,
Logitech.
I'm just okay. Seriously, all of that Logitech C922, which I still have.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
trip.
I got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of
No,
these
so
things,
James, I
mean,
think James, what you brought up, I think is important, and I don't think we should just breeze by it.
Well, you had the
Surround
you at the
yourself
cookout,
with.
so you've been officially invited. So keep talking, brother. Keep
Crispy at the
talking.
cookout.
Yeah, you at the cookout.
Okay.
We want to make check your potato salad though.
Surround yourself with people that will help you get better and not tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes, when JP told you, hey, listen, and he had the best intentions, and you knew that, but you're a grown ass man. You're like, like you've weathered the storm. You've been in the halls of Apple with Steve Jobs, and
Come on, now. You know me.
You've had lots of stuff that goes on, but there are people, there are young folks out there that aren't ready to hear feedback to make them better. And this is an important part of this, is to find someone, and this doesn't mean that it's your partner, because you talk to that person every single day, probably multiple times a day. They're probably going to say what you want. Like, I better say
Or
this,
they don't
or
know.
this is going to be a thorny, right? Yeah, exactly. Or they're not even watching you. Like, find some people that you will give you something to help you, and be ready to receive it and act on it. And that's a huge, huge thing. And it doesn't matter what business you're in, but especially in this business. And it helped me that I surrounded myself with somebody like Jim Fuse, and we helped each other. We sharpened each other's, irons. And we're like, hey, he's like, Chris, you're doing this. And I'm like, Jim, you need to tighten this up. And then you work together, and you get something that, and then not just one person, other people. It will help you tremendously on a number of fronts, especially in a podcast. Especially in a podcast.
Yeah.
Find someone that would be your ideal person you want to listen to this podcast, and say, listen, this is kind of for you. This is kind of for somebody that give me everything you think is wrong with it. Give me everything you think is right with it. Tell me your opinions on this kind of thing, and don't be afraid. Don't hold back. We'll still be friends. I promise.
Yeah.
It's
JP
important.
High Tech was my person too.
I was
He
going to say
reached
something like
out to
that.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reached out to me and said, I love your show. I love what you're doing. And he was showing up in my comments and everything. And he said, I feel like your graphics could be better. Right? So same thing. And I mean, I'm not a designer like Erica. I'm not I didn't have those things in my wheelhouse. But when he said that, I processed that information and said, you know what? He's right. They could be better. Can you show me how? Like, can you create them for me? In fact, I just hired him to create some for me. And that's what he did initially. And then from there, I was able to build on what he did and create my own. So yeah, but you have to be willing to listen. That's an excellent point, Chris.
Three of y'all.
I think you're a really great designer too, Tanya.
Well, thank you.
Love your
Definitely.
layouts.
Definitely.
But I can't do it for other people. I can do it for me.
Let me
Look,
ask
do
this.
This
Listen,
logo right
there
here.
you go. He's
That's nice.
yo, that's dope. Yeah, that's
But Chris
Slick
Stone,
logo
he's
right there.
Chris will just pull out magic. He'll put like fairy dust on your clips and just make them look like, because I do my own and they're boring. But Chris will take it, the same exact clip, and make it look like it's just like ridiculous.
So
Like
I'm gonna
it's
put you. I'm gonna put you
production
big. Yeah. So okay, logo, everything. I got all my elements in there, but this man's whole studio is
All of
in the right color.
Yep.
How do you have the? I know because he knows I know my hex codes. F48022 is the orange, and what that is for folks.
That's just what I do, man.
That's the Ecamm orange as well. So just saying, that's how I know it off the top of my head. So, but his whole room is my color. Let me ask you this, because I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I'm gonna ask a question that I think is an easy one. All three of you, you're all coaches to an extent, right? That should be on your LinkedIn. That should be on the bottom of your business card. Raise your hand if you have a coach yourself. Got three heavyweights up there, folks, who teach the next one, but also have someone teaching them. Right? Show me, teach me, like my own lane trucking consultant said. Eden was saying that she didn't think that she'd ever be the person to have a podcast, but she found someone to teach her and to work with her to make her comfortable. Never be the smartest person in the room, y'all. You in the wrong room. I'm surrounding myself right now with greatness, and I keep when I go off screen, I just want y'all to know I'm taking pictures because I'm so enamored by the caliber of conversation that's happening. Yes, John, I got everyone's links in the description this time. I know I kept saying it before, but yeah, I got to see now your TV is going on. Oh my Lord, what's going on? Erica's camera is going off. She must be.
We go past time, and it all goes to shit.
That being said, I'll bring this plane in, but have someone that you work with that resonates with you, that will tell it to you like a TI is. Have folks around you that will push you to be better.
Yeah.
Make sure that in this sea of noise that you rise above that noise and be your own unique self. Because what Eric is doing, what Chris is doing, what Tanya is doing, nobody can replicate it. I've tried. Chris Stone is my sensei for Descript. I'm trying to learn. I'm barely there, and I'm loving that fact because I'm hungry to get better every single time, every single iteration. When I cut this up later on tonight, it's going to be dope, but it's not going to be Chris Stone, and that's okay because I'm continuing to get better. Did I get
Shouldn't
all the
be.
questions?
I'm taken.
Well, you are, and I
You gotta
I had
be
a couple
you,
of
man.
jokes. I'm gonna
Best
leave him
you.
alone. I was gonna leave him alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something about
Nobody can be Chris Stone. Chris is the
He was one of my favorite
unique in him.
editors.
not the Tanya Smith.
Y'all see, we got
You
number
are-
love here for folks. Listen, follow these people. They will be back every what is this, 4th week? I don't know what Tanya's gonna do because she keep changing the weeks that she's gonna be on the show.
See,
1st week,
why is he
4th week,
tripping?
2nd week. I'm putting you out there. I'm putting your business out there.
Second week. I'm the second week
You
now.
2nd week? Okay. So
Unless you tell me you need me somewhere else.
see that? Put
Because
me in,
look,
coach.
I
Put me in,
gave up
coach.
my own show tonight to be here with
Amen.
you all on James
Amen.
Hicks' show.
Hey,
So-
man. I'm writing it down now because I'll forget if I did in 2nd because I got to update the Notion doc because you said 1st and 4th. Now it's the 2nd. Subscribe to all their channels.
You
All their
know,
channels are dope.
trying to call people out.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I got
Well,
a
this
little
is
bit
turning
home
into a little dispute right
This
here.
what it
It's
is.
gonna
Live
be.
This is family.
It's gonna be
This
something.
is family.
Yeah, I
on.
love it.
This is fun. This is what it is, right? Again, we don't want to be all tight-lipped and all, all. This is what we do. This is
This
what we
makes
do.
for good ratings right here.
This is going. This is America's funniest home videos right here,
This is
boy.
the
This is gonna be in the
blooper- this is the
blooper reel.
blooper reel.
This is gonna be in the blooper reel.
Yeah.
Where was I gonna go,
I
folks?
don't know.
Y'all, I don't know, but I'm gonna bring this plane in right here, folks. If y'all found value in this conversation, obviously, let me know. If you did not find value in this conversation, blame Chris, but then let me know as well. Y'all good? All minds clear?
Yeah.
Y'all be good to yourself. We out.